The views expressed on the Jerry Cahill CF podcast are that of Jerry Cahill and guests, and not necessarily those of the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Nothing on the Jerry Cahill CF podcast should be considered medical advice. Such advice can only be given by a physician who is experienced with cystic fibrosis. The Boomer Esiason Foundation, Jerry Cahill and guests cannot be held responsible for any damage which may result from using the information on this podcast without the permission of your medical doctor. You're listening to the Jerry Cahill CF podcast presented by the Boomer Esiason Foundation and jerrycahill.com.
Welcome to Jerry Cahill's Living, Breathing, Succeeding podcast series. This show, the physical and emotional stress associated with your spouse having a pulmonary exacerbation due to CF, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from Corbus to the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Today you'll meet Tom Kaminski, his wife Lynn, and their 17-year-old son JT, who live in New Jersey. Tom grew up in Lodi, New Jersey, graduated from Montclair State College, and is currently a helicopter traffic reporter for WCBS News Radio. Tom has been happily married to his wife Lynn for 27 years, and they are very proud of their son JT, who attends Seton Hall Prep. It's an honor to be speaking with Tom and his family today as he shares some of his experiences as a spouse, watching Lynn go through many pulmonary exacerbations from the physical and emotional side of cystic fibrosis.
My name is Tom Kaminski. I am the helicopter traffic reporter for WCBS News Radio 880 in New York City. My wife Lynn and I have been married for 27 years. We have a 17-year-old son, JT. I found out that Lynn had cystic fibrosis probably on our third date. We were both falling for each other very hard. And Lynn said to me, before this goes any further, I need to tell you something. She told me that she had cystic fibrosis. Now, I had heard of it, but I didn't know anything about it. The only thing I knew was very cursory, and the only thing that I really did know about cystic fibrosis was that people died from it very young. As our marriage went on, the main thing that had happened was that she would have a pulmonary exacerbation. The first sign that I would get was I would make her a cup of tea and she would say, no, I don't want that. It then would progress to just, I have no interest in eating. So I started calling that the no eating days.
My appetite would go away. I didn't have any appetite at all. And I knew I had to eat to maintain my weight and to just have energy. So I would have things like Ensure and, just like supplemental drinks, and I'd try to eat easy things because I just didn't want to waste my energy trying to eat.
When Lynn was on antibiotics, when they started to work, it was a complete change. She was able to do things. She was able to eat. She was able to sing. She was able to breathe, which was the main thing that she couldn't do before the IVs began. So there was absolutely a change as soon as she started on them. As things progressed and her disease progressed, those periods of normalcy got shorter and shorter and shorter. And the IVs and the other treatments that she were doing became less and less effective. At night, of course, there were coughing spells all night, but just I could hear the crackle. As I'm lying in bed and it's quiet, all I hear is this crackle. And as it would get worse and worse, that's when I knew. I would lay in bed and just think to myself, it sounds like she's drowning.
Every time I take a breath in, it's just very labored. It's just very labored, and it's just full of, all the gunk that was in my system and in my lungs and in all the airways. It was just it was almost like I could feel it multiplying.
All of the pulmonary infections, after a while, really kind of took their toll on all of us. The thing I didn't anticipate going into something like this was the amount of loneliness I was going to feel. I would walk our dog, and I would see an older couple in our neighborhood walking hand in hand, just out for a walk. And I would look at them and I would think to myself, that is never going to be us. No matter what I did, I couldn't make this better. Nothing that I could physically do could make this better. And it was really, really frustrating to me. And I was angry. I was just angry. Not at Lynn. I wasn't angry at Lynn. I was angry at CF. I was angry at the position that it put her in. I was angry at the damage that it did to her lungs.
To me, cystic fibrosis is really bad, and it just looks like it was just eating away at my mom every day. What I learned is to just never give up, because even through the toughest times, there's always going to be a positive outcome.
There have been several things that stand out in terms of moments that have made me very proud of Lynn. Her main thing is positive thinking, positive attitude, and positive results. My son was in a summer baseball league. They were in the finals. They were in the championship game. She took an oxygen tank and made her way to the baseball field, sat away from everyone because she couldn't actually physically go down to the field, and watched our son's team win the championship. They win the championship. They win the championship. He takes the trophy and runs up the hill to her and says, "This is for you."
Some of my proudest moments that I've had with my mom is learning new things in order to help her out. Like when I learned to change her oxygen tanks, I would do it almost every day. I felt proud doing that. Another one is after her transplant, we did a 5K run on the 4th of July, and we did it together. We walked, but it was good. We felt accomplished.
After transplant, we had a chance to get onto the field at MetLife Stadium. We were standing in the end zone taking a picture, and she said, "I'm running to the other end zone. Shoot some video of this." So, okay. She starts at one goal line, runs 100 yards down to the other end zone, gets into the end zone, spikes the ball. That's the thing I'm proudest of about Lynn, is her resilience. She does not give up. She's never given up. Even when things were at their darkest and when she was as sick as she could possibly be, waiting on the transplant list, 20% lung function. The other lung completely collapsed because of all of the infections that she had had. She never gave up. She had a positive attitude. I would tell a caregiver or someone who is the spouse of someone with CF that all of those things that you're feeling, the fatigue, the anger, the resentment, all of that is okay. All of that is okay because we've all gone through that. It's also really important for you, the caregiver, to take care of yourself, to allow yourself hobbies, to allow yourself something to do other than just your caregiver role. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you will be absolutely no good to the person that you're trying to take care of. I'm really thankful for the doctors and the treatments and the research that has gone in to battling cystic fibrosis and has allowed my wife and so many others the chance to have as close to a normal life as you can have and to have as many days as you can possibly have.
I'm thankful for my parents just to be here, especially my mom. I don't know what I'd do without her.
I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful for my son and my husband. I'm thankful for the support that I receive, and I'm just thankful for everything that I have. We have so much, and yet Tom and I have always said I could live in a box with my husband and my son as long as we're together. Family is most important. The people that I love and that love me are the most important.
I am happy with my life. Even on the days that are not great, I'm satisfied and I'm happy because I have my wife with me. And every day that we've had together, whether they've been good days or whether they've been in the hospital or whether we've been at a concert or doing anything, it's another day that we have together. So yeah, I'm happy.
We hope you enjoyed the CF podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on the Boomer Esiason Foundation's YouTube channel so we can keep you up to date on our latest educational programs for the cystic fibrosis community.